Good morning. What a beautiful spring day it is. I'm Stampin' Dee Dee, and I am here with you this morning for Stash the Card. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working from my stash to create a card. And this morning, we're going to be using one of the products of the month. Every month, if you spend $75 or more on an order, then you can choose one of the products of the month for $5. So, in March, I chose the Notes of Spring. I just thought it was so relevant to spring. I loved it. I love animals. I love nature. And, I love flowers and greenery and all that, but you can only have so much of that. You've got to have some different things. And so I chose Notes of Spring. And that's what we're going to be using this morning. The April stamp is a doily, it's not a stamp, it's a die. And I forgot the name of it, but it's like lace, and you can cut pieces. It's a big die, and it die cuts the whole thing, and it looks like lace. But you can cut pieces of it out. You can cut the edges off. There's so many ways you can use it. So it's a really good product too. And you can still go back and get the March Notes of Spring. So that's why I chose it for today. And I hope you enjoy it. And this is one of the cards. The things I pulled from my stash were the Woven Textures Designer Series paper. I needed to use that. I really had not used very much of it. And I thought, I need to use that paper. So I decided to use it with Notes of Spring. And this is one of the cards I made. The other thing I pulled from my stash was this die with all the circles in it. I think it's Picture This, I think maybe is what it's called. So I used that too. But then I used the animals, the rabbit, the bunny, and the deer, and the duck from Notes of Spring. And it's a two-step stamp. You stamp the image in black, and then you come back and you use the shading, the shadow die stamp, and you stamp another color on it. So that's what I did with these. Now, it doesn't have dies to go with it, and so if you want the animals to be offset, if you want them to be separate, then you are going to have to fussy cut them. But they're easy to fussy cut, and I did all three of those for this particular card. And I used, I got a little something. I used the paper on the inside of the card and on the envelope. So I was really trying to use up this paper out of my stash. That's one of the cards I made. Oh, the sentiments on here are especially for you, which I used on several of my cards. A little note of thanks and happiest birthday wishes. great sentiments. And then you've also got some greenery that and these are, this one goes with the rabbit, the duck, the deer. This one goes with this one. But these are just like ground cover, that sort of thing, or anything you want to use them for. All right, set that aside a little bit. So on this one, I used Happy Birthday from another set, and a little bit of linen twine. Then let me bring in one that I used. This one I didn't use the woven textures. I just used cardstock. But I used my color and contour dies, and this die is from an old set. It's from Happy Hippos, and I do love the dies. In fact, I bought that set of dies. I didn't even buy the Happy Hippo stamp set. I wasn't interested in that. I was just interested in the dies. So if you have that set, pull those dies out and use them. Then I used this stamp as background. I had some random pieces of greenery that I pulled out and used, and my little rabbit, a little white rabbit, and some linen thread. I also used this stamp on my cardstock just to create a little bit of a background. And I used the greenery stamp to go up the side. And I used it on the front of the envelope. All right. This one, again, I used the Woven Textures paper. And this one we're actually going to make together. So I'm going to set it aside and show you one other. This is a different rabbit one, using the color and contour dies. And this using that little ground cover just to put some ground under there. A little note of thanks. And I'm not sure, I did do the greenery on the envelope, but nothing on the inside. All right. I think that's it. And we're down to this one now. And this is the one we're going to make together. It's got a lot of greenery, a lot of die cuts. I know I've told you before, I have a little container that every time I do die cuts, greenery or flowers, I do extras. And these are some of the extras that I pulled out. This die I pulled out of Mixed Florals. That's this one. And I did use it just as a little background base for it. All right. So we're going to make this one together. I used some greenery inside and some greenery on the envelope. All right, so I've got, I'm going to need to pull some stamps out of my Notes of Spring. I'll put these up here for now. Here's my pile of greenery that I pulled out of my bigger pile. So these are just some colors that I chose. And since I had quite a bit of Lost Lagoon greenery, I decided to go with that for my card. So my base is going to be the, I think that's Basic Beige that I used on my base. Where is my, it's not out here. There it is. My bone folder. So this is just your normal 8.5 by 5.5. Folded at 4 1/4. And then this is 5¼ by 4, and our woven textures is 5¼ by 4, but I'm going to take the bottom off the woven textures. So I'm just going to begin tearing the bottom off, and I'm tearing toward me so that the white shows. If I didn't want the white to show, I would tear away from me. All right, we're going to put it just like that. We'll set that piece aside. Now I am going to die cut the, I thought I could get it out of this piece, but it looks like I can't. So I'll set that aside, and I know I sure can't get it out of that one. So I need to get another piece of crumb cake for that die. I'm trying to use my scraps. Let's see if this one will work. Oh, I don't think it will. Nope. So I'm going to have to cut a piece. And I was trying not to have to do that, but that's okay. So I'll do a 4 by 5¼ That way, the piece I leave will be usable for a card front. All right. So that fits perfectly, doesn't it? Fits perfectly. All right, we're going to die cut this real quick. You know, any large die to fit behind this would work. I just happened to come across the mixed florals first. So, and this one, when you pull it out, you have to be careful because the pieces are thin, narrow, and it's got pieces that I'm going to have to poke out. So I need to figure out which pieces need to come out. This one does, for sure. And this one does. And there's a couple of little places here. I think I've pretty much got it. All right. Now, so that is going to go in the background behind my focal image. Okay, so let me go ahead and put down my Lost Lagoon piece. And this is going to go right in the center. And then my woven textures is going to go right over the top part. It's going to go right snug with the top and the sides. Okay. And then this is going to go next. Oh, there's a piece that needs to come out. Right there. Right there. That piece. And I'll just use my Tombow. Hopefully I can get it going. It's getting really low. I'm going to grab my silicone mat to put the glue on because it's going to I'm just putting dots of glue on the very tips because I want those tips down. And really the inside doesn't matter so much if the edges are down. All right. And we're going to put this right here. Oop. If my gluey hands don't pick it up again. And hopefully I didn't wipe the glue off the edges. I can't use the tips of my fingers because they've got glue on them. And, you know, there's going to be stuff over this part here. So it's just the edges that I'm concerned about. All right. And now we need to get our little deer stamped and fussy cut. So let me get the deer stamp out. But I need both of them. I need the detail deer, and then I need the shadow deer. We'll get that, and I'll use the birthday. Happiest of birthdays. I'll use that stamp. All right, we're going to move that aside and put my detail deer on a block. Get my black memento. I'll get him inked up. Bring in my mat. Isn't he pretty? And I'm looking for my cleaning chamois because we don't need that guy anymore. We'll take him off, put him over there. Now we'll get the shadow, and we're going to do him in crumb cake. And I think that I'm going to stamp him off. No, I don't need to stamp him off. He's good. So line him up. Stamp him. There he is. So pretty. Clean my stamp. Put it over here. Put my happiest of birthdays on here. And we're going to do it on this piece. Yep. But I'm going to go back to my black. Okay. Happiest birthday wishes. Clean that stamp. All right. Now we're just going to cut this guy out. Put my move back over there. And so I'm going to fussy cut him. And I'm fussy cutting him with a little bit of a white border. Or sometimes I cut right up to the edge and just let the black show, but this time I want a little bit of white, or what's that, very vanilla. I need to get that one a little closer. So my yard is beginning to show me which things survived the freeze and which didn't. My hydrangea has blooms all over it, but my hibiscus has not even sprouted yet. So I'm worried that my hibiscus didn't make it. My hibiscus is the one that has the dinner plate blooms. So pretty. And I'm very sad about that. But so far, it seems to be the only one that hasn't survived. My daffodils bloomed, and my crocus bloomed, and like I said, my hydrangeas got blooms on it. My echinacea are blooming. My daisy is blooming. So, I guess I'm blessed that that's all that didn't survive. I'm trying to get that little point off. Sometimes where you start meets up with where you end, you end up with a little point. All right, that's it. We've done all our stamping. So now, I'm just going to start building. I'm going to put happiest birthday wishes underneath my deer. And I'm just going to start building using these random pieces of greenery. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to get my dimensionals. And we're going to start building. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this down first. Okay. happiest birthday wishes. We're going to put that right there. And then the little deer. So cute. So peaceful. All three of these animals were so peaceful. Now I'm going to leave a lot of space to slip the greenery behind. There he is. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit of practicing here. That one I need to cut down if I'm going to use it. Actually, I think I'll cut it down to here. So I can use it and stick it right there. I also pulled a couple of pieces of gold out because I thought maybe that would look really cool. Maybe I'll put the gold behind everything so it just peeks through. Yeah. This is a little bit darker. And this is some light. Let me get the stem cut off. And then this is some lighter. You can tell these are just random pieces, just random pieces of greenery. How about a leaf over here, maybe? Need a little bit more. I got this, you know, out of the sparkly. I don't know if it'll stick in there or not. Kind of hides the gold. I don't want to totally hide the gold. Maybe not that right now. Maybe the gold right under there. And then, whoops, let's go under the deer. Yeah, I think when we glue them in, they're going to look great. Here's another little piece of gold that could stick right under there. I think this piece needs to come on top of this. Yeah. There we go. All right, I think I've got enough. All right, so I'm going to pull these out. So I know I've got these for this side and these for this side. And now I'm going to start gluing them down. And it's not going to look exactly like we had it, but I think it'll look good. Okay, I'm going to cut this little stem off of this, and I'm going to tuck this right under here, right there. And then I want the gold to be underneath too. So I'm going to cut the stem off of the gold. And I'm going to put it, try to put it underneath there. Underneath that. Right up there. That's what I wanted. Okay. This, I see it has a little piece that needs to be trimmed. Can go, and I think I'm going to trim the stem off of it. And I'm going to tuck it right over the gold and the sparkly blue. Right under his ear. There we go. And we've got two more pieces over here. I've got that one and this one. Yeah, that'll be great. Okay. Got that one. Well. And if I need to tuck this down a little bit so it doesn't get over the edge, I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. And then this one, I think it's going to go right under there. Right there. Perfect. And you know, the thing about it is you can come back. You can't on that one, we glue him down. You can come back with these and turn the edges up a little bit and give it a little bit more dimension. All right, we want this gold to go underneath. So we're going to put him right there. And this guy is going to go right there. Right there. And I'm going to cut his stem off so he'll go a little bit further down. And he's going to go right there. And this guy, I need to trim his top. Remember, these are all just scrap pieces. We've got a dimensional right there that's kind of blocking us up. So I think what I'm going to do is cut the bottom off so that we can come a little further down. Yeah. Yes, right there. And that's when we can look at it and say, all right, is it, I think this one needs something else underneath. Maybe this piece right under here. Yes, it does. It needs that. There. I think that looks good. You still see the gold peeking out. And what I might do is curl the gold up a little bit. There we go. All right, I think that's going to look good. And now we've got some twine. So I've got some linen thread, which of course we just love. And I've also got some gold twisted thread, and I think this is retired, but I think it's going to work perfect for this with the gold linen thread. Let me find my edge. Here we go. It'll bring out that gold. And yet it's not real bold. Now I'm going to double this. I hope the linen thread is going to let me do that. My linen thread fell apart. And that happened when I could not find the starting place. This will work. Oh, that's the one I just, there we go. All right. Let's try this again. Put them together end to end. And we're going to double it. That's about enough. So, to about here. And then we're going to go down here. I'm going to straighten it just a little bit. And then go down here and cut it. All right. And now for our bow. Just a little bit further down. Maybe we came too far down. This one is down a lot further than the others. So I needed to move it back. All right. Let's try this again. There we go. It's going to be shorter. That's all right. We'll trim it and make it even. I think that is going to make such a good bow. See the other gold string there. There. Perfect. Make sure it's tight. It's going to go right there, right on the edge of this. Perfect. 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 All right, here is the, let's see if anybody has commented. No. Okay. Okay, got a glue dot. I'm about out of glue dots. I've got an order ready to turn in. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll have to put our inside in. I haven't done that yet. But there. You know, and the thing about this, let me trim that one just a little bit. The thing about it is it makes a great masculine card. A great masculine card with the woven textures and the deer. It just makes a great masculine card. All right, and looky there. We've got a lot more of this to put back in my stash. Yeah, I pull that stash out all the time and use from it. Blooms, I've got so many flowers and blooms and so many leaves and stems. But there we go. So using, oh, I don't have my stamps put back in here. So let me do that real quick so I don't lose them. There's that one. There's that one. All right. Notes of Spring. I enjoyed using that and will enjoy it. Notes of Spring. And then we have this card and this card. And this card, the bunnies, and this one using all of them. So I hope you will consider this product of the month and give it a try. See if you don't enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed it. Let me pull it down just a little bit. And if you watch this on the replay, let me know. And if you watch on YouTube, please let me know you're watching. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful spring weather. And thank you again for being here. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.